hello, it's me. I'd like to discuss channeling and whether it's a tool to get yourself and your mind out of your own way so that intelligence can come through. So it's subtler than like fully being possessed and suddenly going, ooh, well, I have no idea of who I am, where I am. Do you see what I mean? So I wonder what everyone else's experience of this is, because it's really interesting, because it depends. Maybe it needs to be so far removed from yourself for certain people that they go, well, yeah, like hypnosis, that you totally forget who you are, you totally forget your name, your identity, your person, because you are totally embodying them for that shift, right? So that you can fully get your mind out of the way, because you are not identified with who you usually identify with, the name that your parents have given you, the clothes that you've decided you like to wear, and you're completely embodying somebody else. Because for me, that's the intriguing part, that really, surely, bottom line is that it's a tool to get your conscious, I-identified mind out the way, so that the wisdom can come through, and you give yourself that belief and that excuse and say, I've gone, the I that we normally identify with ourselves has disappeared, and I am truly just the energy that's coming through. But because, from my perspective, we shift into different archetypal energies anyway. So me, as the I identify Claire, would shift into different archetypal spaces and archetypal energies anyway. And that is almost like you're being possessed by a certain version and a certain energy that's coming through, because if you're possessed by a certain archetype in that moment, you might not necessarily do something that you would do in a different energy state, if you see what I mean. So is embodying spirits a similar thing? Is it more of an archetypal shift in energy and just a permission slip for the mind to get out of its own way? What do you think? Or, because if there's truly amnesia, mentalists do it all the time with hypnosis training and shows and things, that they will get somebody with an onion eating it like an apple quite happily, and they have no idea that they're eating this onion. They think it's an apple, and then you suddenly snap them out and they go, oh, ugh. Never in a million years. The eyes aren't watering, they can't taste the taste, yet they're eating the apple, the onion. So we can, through power of the mind, give ourselves that level of amnesia just through deciding, through mentalist techniques. So if you're embodying a certain energy and archetype, but you totally give yourself the amnesia of, no, this is a spirit coming through me, and I am totally can't remember my identity. when it's here, and then it goes, and I'm, oh, yeah, I don't remember any of the 10 seconds. But people that eat the onion go, well, yeah, I don't remember any of that. I think it's a similar shift up here into a frequency, an energy state. But if the belief is that you can get out of your own way to access different archetypes, different energies coming through, then is it possible to put on and take off these energies like it would be a character in a play? And almost is method acting, that you fully embody the vibrational frequency of the character that you're being. Therefore, you're not identified with who you usually think you are, but you're fully embodying the identity of that character. And then whatever comes out of your mouth would surprise the other identified you. You would go, ooh, well, I wouldn't have said something like that. I don't even know what that word means. Yet I used it when I was this character. So is it a really similar thing when it comes to channeling and people that channel spirits from other realms, channel the Palladians, channel spirits from the dead? Is it literally just getting out of your own way like you would an actor, embody the frequency that's there, and then you're speaking and walking and talking and thinking like this embodied energy? Basically, I'm saying, is it under our control? To those that can consciously choose to do it. I can understand, yes, sometimes it might take a mentalist, or you're just hit with that energy and you get the amnesia and you don't know what's happened and it's not within your control. But I'm saying, can it be a practice that is within our control? We can consciously choose to shift into and invite in a frequency. So I had a little bit of a play around with this, and I decided, okay, let's see, I'm going to open myself up to a vibration to come through. And then I started speaking differently, and then I had, just randomly, I made the invitation. It was probably, 5-10 minutes later, then suddenly it was happened, and suddenly I had this name pop in, and I thought, oh, okay, I think we're on. Let's go and videotape this and see what happens. And I found it really intriguing, because I thought, well, yeah, it was in intention and it was in a choice. And I could almost flick between what I identify as my frequency and what I identify with something different. But it's the same thing, and almost slowing down to the speed of wisdom, or letting an energy speak through you. And another way to look at this would be talking from your head, expressing from your heart, and being present and letting the wisdom of creation come through. I feel there are 3 parts to expression. I can express what I'm thinking about. I can express what I'm really feeling in the core of everything. And I can express this creative energy, which is more like spirit, God, and like an energy intelligence that's always in me, but I don't always bring my awareness to it. We as a society are very used to communicating from our heads, communicating from everything stored in the brain, because that's where the most cells are in our body, is in the brain. And the most, we've got lots of cells here, but actually we've got cells of intelligence all over our bodies. Just because we've got a thing called a brain and quite a lot of them in one place, we immediately associate straight up here. But if we broaden the awareness to the intelligence and the cells of the entire body, for me it feels really different. And it's shifting and becoming aware of different states. And the embodying of a spirit or a different person or a different personality, giving the wisdom that's coming through a different name, a different accent, it's a different tone of voice. Then when you're hearing it coming out of your own mouth, it's like you don't then identify it with you. You're then removed because it sounds different and it feels different and it seems different. So you go, so the mind isn't attached to, that's me. The mind goes, I'm not associated with that person. And that's what's really interesting, because it gives the wisdom full permission and expression. Because I think sometimes we hold back because we're so identified with the I. What will people think of me? Oh, I can't say that, and I can't freely express yourself. It's why they used to have masked balls. And people would go and wear a mask, and you can fully be liberated and express and say whatever you want to say, because nobody knows it's you. There'll be no repercussions. You can just speak your truth. And very similar with, I think it's a permission slip. So when we're embodying spirits, different archetypes to speak through us, it's a permission slip to say really anything. Because you're not attached to and associated with what's being said. You can fully remove yourself and just go, I'm quite happy with anything to come out of the mouth because it's not me. Right? And it's a permission slip for real wisdom, because you surprise yourself going, well, that came out of my mouth, but it's not my accent and it's not my belief, and it's really interesting information. And I could learn a lot from doing this. Like it's a bit like an alter ego experiment, but it is so, it's very interesting, because it is like a different frequency is coming through. Like the intention and the fact that you're doing it then gives the metaphysical realm permission to go, I can speak, I can come through there. So it's like you're giving permission to Hebs, highly evolved beings, highly evolved energy. Like you're giving permission for them to speak through. Whereas most of the time we spend really locked off from that. Oh, that's a bit weird, that's a bit out there. No. But for me, anyone can access, anyone can do it. It's more of an awareness of shifting through, and it's almost down into different awareness states. Am I talking from my head? Am I now expressing from my heart? Am I fully in my body and expressing that creative wisdom? What are your thoughts? I'm going to post, I'm not going to say that just in case I don't. Yeah, what are your thoughts on channeling? And yeah. And have you tried it? Is there a formula for channeling to go, okay, drop in even further, give permission to whatever wants to come through and see what happens? I think it is totally a skill that anyone could do and learn and practice. And that it's accessible all the time. And that this wisdom is wanting to come into the consciousness of humanity for the remembering, so that it's not such a shift, but it's embodied in us all the time. I love this subject, so juicy. I'll leave you with that.